साथ उनका स्वागत किया गया है। वो तस्वीरें इस वक्त अपने दर्शकों को दिखा रहे हैं।
थोड़ा बहुत इंडिया में कभी आई? कभी नहीं। किसी को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि आप मिस्र की बेटी है कि हिंदुस्तान की बेटी है। वाह। अपनी तबीयत थोड़ा बहुत इंडिया में कभी आई? कभी नहीं। किसी को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि आप मिस्र की बेटी है कि हिंदुस्तान की बेटी है। वाह। अपनी तबीयत
All right, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi finally in Cairo, receiving the same kind of rousing welcome that he did in the United States, and that kind of Modi mania has now followed him all the way from Washington DC now to Cairo. We've been welcomed by some deeply heartening and heartwarming visuals of that young girl singing for Prime Minister Modi, Ye Dosti Hum Nahi Todenge. Deeply symbolic when it comes to the ties between both the countries, India and Egypt. Something that Prime Minister Modi is only looking forward to deepening further during this visit. And remember, when it comes to the Indian Prime Minister, people-to-people ties and the Indian diaspora have always played a very crucial role when it comes to taking a strategic partnership with any country forward, something we've already seen happen in the United States, where the Indian American communities played a significant role. And now, with him interacting so closely with the Indian diaspora, we can certainly expect this relationship or the partnership to be taken to the next level. International correspondent Abhishek Jha continues to join us with the latest. Abhishek, do take us through this diaspora event that's happening. I can see Prime Ministers interacting with all the Indians over there. We are told that the Indian community in Egypt is not so large, but they have a very significant contribution to the Egyptian society. Many of them are associated with the IT sector and the oil and gas industry as well.
Of course, Akansha, and as a person, for Prime Minister Modi also, it must be very overwhelming. The last event that he had in Washington, D.C. was an Indian diaspora event where he had an interaction to talk with, eminent people, personalities of Indian origin in USA. And, apart from that, there were other hundreds of people. And Prime Minister had a rousing welcome and reception in USA, back to Cairo, and the first event that he has here is meeting with Indian diaspora. And yet again, he is feeling the same connect that wherever he has been visiting, there is always a warmth, a greeting by the Indian diaspora waiting for him way before he arrives there. We've just seen how that song, that famous song, and celebrating friendship between two persons has been just sung by people. A woman, and the Prime Minister, in fact, sort of invited her also to India, and he said that whenever she comes to India, she will not find it an alien country, and she will find it as homely as she is there in Egypt. And we were having a conversation recently where an Indian lady was giving a soundbite also, where she said that whenever she is roaming around in Cairo, visiting any place in Egypt, she has never felt that she is an outsider. People greet and treat Indians very much as their own. And this is the kind of friendship, the tie, people-to-people connect that India and Egypt has, nourished over the several decades. Though if in terms of business transactions, India-Egypt relationships are not as robust as it should have been. But people-to-people engagement are very much there because India and Egypt have been traditionally, sort of same type of society and polity, where they have considered international relationship as themselves as a neutral person. They have never fell in any block. And but in the recent decades, at least, Egypt had faced a lot of political turmoil. Prime Minister Hosni Mubarak was there for several decades. Then Morsi came after Tahrir Square. Now we are having President Al-Fatah Sisi. Right. But despite all these transitions that Egypt has faced in the last one decade at least, the ties with India has been unhindered, undeterred. And we could see Hosni Mubarak also having traveled in 2009. I think Morsi also traveled somewhere around 2013 or 14. President Al-Fatah Sisi had already traveled twice in India. Two of them were state visit. One was in an Indo-African summit-level talks when President Sisi had traveled. Prime Minister is now visiting Egypt, and this is almost after 15 years that a Prime Minister of India is visiting Egypt. So the kind of reception, the kind of waiting or eagerness is on the Egyptian side can be very much gauged by the fact that Prime Minister had been welcomed. With so much of warmth.
And in fact, what is extremely comforting and encouraging is the reception of the Indian diaspora, something that was very apparent in the way that girl, in fact, in a very expressive and gentle tone, crooned to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. On that note, let's also bring in some reactions that are coming in.
Told me, have you ever been to India? So I told him the name. I've never been to India before. And he also asked me, how did you learn Indian language? So I told him the movies and songs. So yeah, that's it.
तो आपको हिंदुस्तानी फिल्म में कौन सबसे ज़्यादा पसंद है?
सबसे फेवरेट?
प्रधानमंत्री से मिलकर कुछ हुआ जब उन्होंने बोला कि आप तो भारत की बेटी लग रही है?
Yeah, he told me that we look like we're from India. There's no difference.
So how did you feel when you met the Prime Minister?
It was so good. When I saw him smiling, and I think he loved what I did. So I'm so honored to meet him. And
What's your name?
Jenna.
Jenna. And how long you are living here in Egypt?
I've been singing in an Indian song since I was 6 years old. So it's 11 or 12 years.
Any other song you want to sing?
I can sing Lag Ja Gale.
I have proud.
Lag Ja Gale ye pe hasi raat ho na ho shayad फिर से